Today we're going to talk about frequency distribution. We've got a couple of definitions that we need to go over before we start. The first definition is frequency. Frequency is the number of times something occurs. And also relative frequency. Relative frequency is the proportion of the frequency over the total number of observations. Now, frequency distributions can be easily organized into histograms to make data comparison easy. There are a couple other ways that we can show the data, and we're going to talk about those a little bit later, but today we're just going to talk about histograms. All right, let's take a look at example 1. It says the following data was collected. It's letters in a randomly selected person's first name. So in the first column, we have the name length. So we have a small name, which is 1 to 3 letters. We have a medium name, which is 4 to 6 letters. A large name, which is 7 to 9 letters. And an extra large name, which is 10 plus letters. And this is the data that somebody collected, the frequency. We had 4 people with small names, 28 people with medium names, 30 people with large names, and 17 people with extra large names. So A says we need to find the relative frequencies. In order to find the relative frequencies, we need to figure out what's the total number of people that were asked the question. So we need to add the column 4 plus 28 plus 30 plus 17. And so 79 people were surveyed. Okay? So to find the relative frequencies, all we do is we take the frequency and we put it over 79. If they can be reduced, you need to reduce them. So for the first one, we have 4 over 79, which cannot be reduced. Then we have 28 over 79, which also cannot be reduced. We have 30 over 79. And then we have 17 over 79. So in this case, none of these relative frequencies could be reduced, but that's okay. So now we're going to continue this example on the next slide. It says we're going to create a histogram. So you need to pause the video and you need to set up an X and a Y axis. On the X axis, we're going to have the title, name lengths, and we're going to list the name lengths down at the bottom. And then on the y-axis, we're going to have the frequencies. So our biggest one was 30, so we at least need to go up to 30. And I put a tick mark for every number, but I only labeled the even ones, which is okay. But then you have to label your y-axis frequency. So, and then the whole name of it is name lengths. So that's the title. Now pause the video and set up your X and Y-axis with the labels and the title. Now that you have everything set up, we can look back at our data and figure out how tall our bars need to be on our histogram. Now, histogram, the bars are going to touch. So let's look. The first one is small, and we're going to go up to 4. So 4, we're going to bring it over and bring it down. And you can color it in if you want to. You don't necessarily have to. So there's our small name length. Now medium, if we flip back, the medium name length is 28. So we need to go up to 28. Use a straight edge tool. It might be beneficial to use a ruler here. So I'm going to go up to 28. I might need to erase a little bit. And then you can also color that one in. So there's a big jump from a small name to a medium name. Now we need to go back and look at large names. Large names go up to 30. So we need to go to 30 for the large names. So after you get that one to 30, you can color that one in as well. You don't have to. And then the last one we have is extra large. So let's go back. Extra large names are 17. So we need to go to 17. And you can color that one in as well. Didn't draw a very straight line, but if you have a ruler, you should be able to draw really straight lines. So there's our histogram. Now, it gives you a good visual as to see what is the most popular name length. The most popular name length is large. Okay, now let's move on to our next example. It says a group of 20 first graders was asked what their favorite color was. Bet that was a fun survey. So the first thing we have to look at is we have our colors. So we have pink, blue, orange, green, and yellow. Now, I don't know if they only let them pick those or if that's just what they picked. We have the frequency, and then we have a column for the relative frequency. Now, A says we need to find the relative frequencies. Now, remember, to find the relative frequencies, we need to add all the frequencies together. Well, if you pay attention, it says a group of 20 first graders, so you don't necessarily have to add the numbers together. If you wanted to, you could, though, to double check. So now, we're going to take the frequency and put it over 20. Now, this time, we've got numbers that can reduce. Let's see. They both are divisible by 4. So we actually have 1/5 of our first graders picked pink. So then we have 3/20, which cannot be reduced. In orange, we have 3/20, which also cannot be reduced. For green, we have 6/20, and both of those are divisible by 2, so that's 3/10. And then yellow, we have 4/20, which we know they're both divisible by 4, so we get 1/5. So we found our relative frequencies. B says, what proportion of first graders did not choose green? So we want the ones that did not choose green, and a proportion means we're just looking for a fraction. Now there's 2 ways you can go about doing this. We can take what we got for green, we got 3/10 for green, and we can figure out, well, we've got one whole group of kids that we have surveyed. So the ones that did not choose green, you can figure out 3/10 plus something would equal to 10/10, so the whole. So 7/10 of our first graders did not choose green. Or you can add 4, 3, 3, and 4, because those are the ones that did not choose green. Which you get, that's 7 plus 7, 14. And then we have 14 out of 20. Both of those are divisible by 2, and you get 7/10. Now there's 2 ways to go about doing that, and either way is perfectly correct because you get the same answer.